Hello, hello. Uh, I may be talking to myself, and that is okay. I'll be okay with that. But this is my January 2nd live Q&A because my website launched yesterday. And I thought I would come on and answer any questions anybody might have had about what Stronger Through Cancer is, what made me start it, what your concerns are, what you're worried about, what it might feel like and look like. And again, I might be just talking to myself. So I'm recording this maybe for myself, but also just, to have in case you wanted to be on, but couldn't be on. So I'm going to start, with just a gentle breathing exercise. If you're out there, you can join me, or you can just eavesdrop. I'm going to get a little more comfortable in my seat. I'm going to close my eyes. Begin to breathe a little bit more intentionally. My last 3 breaths, I'm going to blow out through my mouth, releasing any anxiety or tension that I've built up. All right. Oh, it's a scary thing. It's a really scary thing and a really vulnerable thing to start something brand new at any point, right? When we take those first steps towards something new, there's all this unknown. There's like all these questions we ask ourselves, like, is this the right thing for me to do? What if I fail? That's a huge one. What if, what if I fuck up? What if I screw up in some way that irreversibly changes the course of my life or hurts myself or, others? And I would imagine that I'm not just feeling that because I'm starting this business, but that somebody who has cancer might be starting to feel that way with a program like this. I know that during my days leading Live Strong and instructing, so many people at various stages of disease and age and conditioning levels, there was this sort of, universal fear of people starting something that they couldn't do. And here I am trying to start something that I'm afraid, will flop. And like nobody's going to come on, and I'm going to be sitting here talking to myself for an hour. So I guess the advice that I give them and gave them, I'd have to give to myself, which is just take the first step, right? And just pay attention to yourself and be kind to yourself, because being vulnerable takes courage. And if you can say to yourself, all right, so maybe you screw up, maybe you fail, that's okay, right? Life is mistakes. Make mistakes. But in the end, if you choose to do something for yourself, that requires bravery, you've already won. Because it's very easy to just stay stagnant and be like, no, I'm not making any changes. I'm too afraid of a possible negative outcome. So I'm just going to status quo. But if you never endeavor to be brave for yourself, for the betterment of yourself, you're never going to grow. And things will feel the way they feel. And you will be the way you are being right now. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that this program will just sort of, not even fail, just sort of just lay there, right? And then I'll have to pursue something else. And I don't want to, because I believe in this. I believe in this so much because it worked for me and it worked for countless other people. And when I say work, that almost, work sort of symbolizes like, a task or like forget that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like get in the best shape of your life and lose all this weight. I mean, invariably that may happen depending on your dedication and your, the regularity of your routine. And if you really, really plug away at it. But what will work is that your mental attitude will shift. Your physical state of being will shift into a more positive, power and role oriented way of being. When you have cancer, sometimes you don't even feel bad until you start your treatment. Sometimes. I can't tell you how many people have said that to me. Like, I didn't even feel bad until I started going through the treatment. So, because all of these things happen to the body, right? Things are being put onto our body, into our body, and it's scary. And then you're sort of, that fight or flight response of the body tenses up, and then the next thing you know, you just feel not like yourself. So the theory behind movement and welcoming in some physical strength and flexibility and developing more stamina, combined with focusing more on your breath work and the messaging in your brain and being mindful of each experience, good, bad, or indifferent, cannot do anything but help you. It cannot do anything but help you because you are taking control. You're taking back the chapter that you're in right now. Rather than letting it all happen to you, you're making things happen. And then the next thing you know, the byproduct is you feel a little better. You're moving a little better. You're feeling a little more hopeful. You're feeling less crummy. And then you want more. You get greedy for it, right? And you notice that if you walk a little more than the day before, you feel that. You feel that. And you notice if you start to incorporate weights instead of just your own physical body, that the strength in the muscle starts to tell all the other body parts, like, hey, we're getting better over here. You don't stand a chance. This is evidence-based, right? This is not brand new. This is like the science of your brain and your body responding to these wonderful things. Just as if you eat McDonald's every day for a month, you're going to feel like crap. Whereas if you eat Whole Foods every day for a month, you're going to feel better. Well, if you move your body, you're going to feel better. And if you draw more breath into your body more intentionally, your mind is going to ease. It's going to give you more support, more love. And all of those things start to change the chemical makeup of our body. And the next thing you know, you're able to fight off illness. You're able to get through a common cold easier. You're able to withstand treatment and maybe even ward off recurrence of this disease. That is transformative. And it didn't cost you much. And it can be forever. This is something you can do forever. not just today, not just for the time that you're in treatment, but for the rest of your life, so that your life gets better and you're prolonging a healthier life. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I believe in it. And now more than ever, because COVID, we can't, can't go to gyms like we used to and feel as confident that we're not going to, interact with some sort of germ that's going to make us sicker. And I want to be a part of that, because the thing I loved the most about my job was leading Livestrong and interacting with people who went through some of the same struggles I went through, and using my knowledge and my experience and my certifications to help them feel better. That was my life, and I didn't want to give it up. But a global pandemic took that away from me. And this 10-month period gave me time to really reflect on what I want to do. And this is what I want to do. I want this to be successful, and I believe it will be successful. I believe that this program will change lives. I just need people to join. I need people to join. I need people to try it. So I sit here waiting, and I'll be waiting, and that's okay, because I can do some reading and listen to nice music. I could probably think of some questions that people might have. Number one question I get a lot from people is, I've got specific issues, and what would you recommend for me if I have, if I've had knee surgery and I'm not just dealing with cancer, but like I have a knee replacement. So, what would you do for me? And if I'm going to focus on that one specific thing, I'm going to tell you right now that you want to build the strength around your knees. So you want to work on your quads. They're very large muscles, and there's a lot of things that you can do to strengthen them, not just walking, but actual repetition, working with maybe ankle weights to build up strength would help. But in the beginning, I would say you just have to be in concert with your body and have to really know, is this resistance I'm feeling, or is this pain? And if it's pain, we need to back off, right? We do less reps. We walk a little less. We walk at a slower pace. Part of what makes me a good teacher is I've been teaching yoga for almost 13 years, and in group fitness and Livestrong for, half that. And you have to modify based on a lot of things, right? So not everybody's body is going to be able to do what the person next to them is doing, or what the person behind the screen is doing. So you have to kind of be open and honest with yourself and say, I can't do that. So what can I do? And then I can give you some modifications. There's modifications for everything. So, that's a one-on-one chat conversation. It's not something you have to pay extra for. If you're really concerned about it, you need to just shoot me a little message, and I will say, okay, this is what you can do. For example, if you've got balance issues, you're going to want to use chairs. You're going to want to use the wall. If squatting hurts you, don't do a full squat. Squat to a chair. Focus on like hovering right above a chair. It's something that we do all the time, sitting, right? I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I can't get up and down off the floor, so I'm not gonna be able to do that. Well, do you go to bed every night? You get up and down off the bed, right? So the bed becomes your floor. So that's probably a very common question. Another question that I'm hearing from people is, I don't have all these weights and things in my house. Well, you can do a lot of exercising without weights. You don't have to. Are you going to get more impact from weights? Eventually, yes. In the beginning, if you're really deconditioned or you're really new to exercise, then obviously we want to go slow and start with just our own body resistance. But if you want to build up to using weights, you don't have to buy weights. You can take, household items. This ridiculous cup that I drink out of, it's pretty heavy. Cans, if you have like a really heavy, what do they call them? Like Dutch oven, like pots. Those are like, you could use that to do, any kind of number of things. So you don't have to, but if you are inclined to, now more than ever, it's really easy to do this stuff online and buy them either through Amazon or Target online or TJ Maxx online. They sell them so affordably that you don't have to make a huge investment and have like a weight set or something. Another question that might come up is, I don't want people to see me. What can you do about that? Well, you don't have to be visible. You don't have to turn your video on. You can just eavesdrop and follow me. I'm the one putting myself out there on the line. You don't have to. I totally get that. And I will be very clear and honest with you that I don't love the way I look on camera. So every time I feel that little twinge of like self-admonishment or judgment, that's when I just have to push through and be brave, because every body is different. Every body is different. And one thing I've learned through years of exercise and just being even in the fitness industry is physique does not equal fitness. You can be super cut, right? Like just amazingly beautifully toned. And that does not mean that you're more fit than a person who maybe doesn't have that same muscle tone. Are you more cut and more developed? Yes, but you might be doing something detrimental to get that look that's not right for another person's body. Your body might respond to proteins in a different way, right? So, I definitely have gone through that, where I've looked around a class when I was in group classes, or, even been teaching a student, let's say, and I'm like, oh God, they're in much better shape than me. But then I have to check myself and say, like, I don't know that. I don't know that at all. I feel pretty strong. And I feel like I work hard at taking care of myself. So maybe that's not true, but you don't have to be visible. I totally get that. Another question I might be getting is it a support group? And no, it's not a support group. This is a health and wellness program. Will it end up being a support group for you? Probably. You're going to connect with people who are feeling the same struggles, trials, and triumphs that you're feeling. And whether or not you want to kind of form those relationships more offline, that's up to you. I would benefit from that, but you might not. So you don't have to. You can give as little or as much as you want to this program and to another person. What else might be a question? I'm going to go for 10 more minutes. I don't think I'm going to be sitting here for an hour by myself, because it's just starting to feel a little pathetic. So 10 more minutes of watching me is enough for me. I've had some people ask me, why would I want to do mindfulness practice? I'm not into all that hippy dippy stuff, or I can't meditate. I've tried and I can't meditate. I can't quiet my mind. I get that. I would say you need it more than anybody. And mindfulness practices don't have to be hippy dippy. I mean, not everybody likes to journal. I get that. But I will tell you that journaling is really cathartic. It's just dumping thoughts on paper or in a notebook or on your computer. It really doesn't have to be difficult, and it doesn't have to be well written. It's just a way of sort of emotionally vomiting. And that can be very helpful when you're going through cancer or recovering from cancer. I want to speak to people who are recovering in particular, because there is this sort of, it's almost like a relationship breakup, where you're getting all this attention for so long from doctors and, and your various appointments. And then once you're in either remission or, you've just finished, there is this feeling of like, oh, you don't like me anymore. Like you're not there, you just get kind of dropped. And it's hard to pick up your pieces after something that life-changing And that is another reason why this program works for people in recovery as well, because you can be a source of hope for a lot of people, and that makes you feel more purposeful and gives you its own sort of energy. But also you would benefit from it because you've probably been through something so physically draining that you need to build back up your strength and your stamina. Going back to the mindfulness piece though, you know, if you break it down, right, like mindfulness, right? How could that be bad to have mindfulness? You want to pack your mind with positivity and optimism and affirmation and intention and love. And when you've been through something so scary and so physically, emotionally, and mentally demanding, it's important to fill your mind with good things, because there's a lot of time spent wondering, waiting, worrying during and even after treatment. So you want to begin that shift. And there's so much evidence about the shift in thinking and the shift in positive energy coming into the brain cells. There's so much evidence that that does wonders for your physical well-being, right? There's a reason why when you're around someone who's not a super happy dappy, but like a person who is sort of a sneaky sacred, I call them, where they just kind of feel more peaceful. They feel a little bit more hopeful. There's a reason why we crave that when we're around someone like that, because it makes us feel that way. We feel that way when we're around them. And if you can hone that craft for yourself, it's like a super drug. It really does start to sink in, and you start to feel differently about everything. Listen, we're surviving a global pandemic. Many of us have lost jobs, okay? Our lives have been turned upside down. That kind of mental focus and shift really helps, right? We have to have hope. We have to believe like, okay, there's a vaccine coming. Things are going to get back to normal. Things are going to get better. Those things make us feel better, right? We look forward to weekends because weekends make us feel better. It's a break. Well, mindfulness is like a weekend for your mind. I just made that up on the fly. That wasn't bad. I liked that one. Some of you don't know, many of you do, but some of you don't know that in like 19 days, it'll be 3 years since my husband died very suddenly. Cardiac arrest in the middle of the night. We'd been together 25 years, married 20, had just finished or had just celebrated our 20th anniversary in December. January 21st, everything changed. I say this with no exaggeration whatsoever. And please know that I'm saying this very vulnerably. But I would not have made it were it not for yoga. And I don't even mean the physical practice. I mean teaching yoga. Teaching yoga and practicing what I taught, which was deep, deep breathing, moving my body in a way that made me feel cared for and nurtured and strong, and mindfulness activities like journaling and visualizing better things, surviving. There's something very significant about a sudden loss because there's no time for the long goodbye. And there isn't a day that I don't think about Tom. But I have to move on. We have two beautiful girls. There was not, there was no curl up and die too. That was not an option. Sometimes I wanted it to be, y'all, I'm not kidding. Sometimes I wanted to just like, what would it be like to be that kind of person that's just like, I'm done, I'm checking out. But I kept thinking of this like this beautiful Emily Dickinson poem, Hope is the thing with feathers that perches on your soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And my husband was the most hopeful person I ever met. I mean, if optimism had a mascot, it was him. And, you know, he wanted to dance at our wedding to Frank Sinatra's The Best Is Yet to Come, because that's how he lived his life. Everything was going to be better. The best was down the line, right around the corner. So I kept thinking of that after he died, like, all right, I got to have hope that things are going to get better. Things are going to be better. Because surely I have to survive this. I have two girls who had the best man in their lives taken away from them. And they didn't get to have him for 25 years. And I was lucky that I did. The world was luckier for him. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm saying I'm sorry. Don't apologize for grief. Anyway, practicing mindfulness helped me survive that. It continues to help me survive that. And this. Sitting with uncomfortable feelings, because you're going to have them. Life is full of uncomfortable feelings. Life is love and loss. Breathing through uncomfortable feelings, and then taking the next breath. You can only breathe in the present moment. You can't breathe in the past, mourn what was by breathing into it. It doesn't exist anymore. And you can't breathe into the future. You can only breathe right now. And with each breath you take, there's another one, if you're lucky, right around the corner. And there it is. And there it is. All right, I'm signing off because it's been 30 minutes of looking at myself and answering hypothetical questions that no one's asking. All right. I hope this reaches someone if you need it. If it's you, I hear you and I see you. Okay. You're going to be all right.